Thank you for joining me. I've got a game for you from the Women's World Blitz Chess Championship. Miaoyi versus this young lady, Ayaulym Kaldarova. She's from Kazakhstan. She was born in 2007, so 3 years older than Miaoyi. You can see their live ratings. Miaoyi rated quite a bit higher than the challenger here. But let's go ahead and get right into the game. Oh, do notice that this is 3-minute time control. So they have 3 minutes, 180 seconds on the clock, and each time they move, they gain 2 seconds. All right, let's get right into it. White begins with the ready, so we have knight to g3, as you do in the ready. Miaoyi goes with pawn to d4. We now have pawn to g3 by white. This is the King's Indian attack, preparing to bring the bishop to g2 here. And Miaoyi plays a very rare move in the position. This is only like the 7th most popular move, so a pretty rare move. So Miaoyi plays a very rare move, knight to d7 here, only the 7th most popular move in the position. And now we have the best move in the position by white, not really flustered by this, plays pawn to d4. So we have knight to b6 by Miaoyi, and there's only been a couple dozen master games played to this position before. So I'm thinking Miaoyi is trying to really throw this young player off, or well, this kind of, she's a Class A player, but throw her off her game. Maybe Miaoyi doesn't want to face some sort of known opening that this girl maybe has memorized perfectly. So she's throwing in a wrench, really trying to mess things up with this weird pawn maneuver. We now have bishop to g2, which is the best move in the position. And Miaoyi also finds the best move in the position. She plays bishop to f4 here. And now we have castles by white. And both players playing extremely quickly. You can see they've used almost no time on their clocks, taking no more than 2 seconds per move. Now we have pawn to e6 by Miaoyi here. There were a couple of grandmasters that have played this exact position. In one of the games, the player's 2600 plays knight here. In the other, we actually have pawn to c6 by the other grandmaster pair. But Miaoyi plays pawn to e6 here. And there's actually there's many grandmaster games. I think it's like 13 that have played this move. White now plays knight to e5, which is an okay move. That's not a bad move in the position. It's a good move. Maybe getting this knight involved one way or another might have been a little bit better, but this is okay. But as of move 6 now, knight to e5, this is already a brand new game as far as master play. No master game has ever been in this realm before, although there are a couple handfuls of recorded chess games on chess.com that have gone this route. It's amazing how quickly you can end up in a completely unknown opening. Miaoyi now plays pawn to f6, and yeah, Stockfish is not happy with this. It's actually saying go ahead and start throwing your pawns towards the king's position, with pawn to h4 would be better. But okay, we have knight back to d3, the best possible move for white, and now Miaoyi plays bishop to d6 here. Again, not necessarily the best move. Best move would have been actually bishop here to e4, looking to undermine the king's castle, maybe get rid of that bishop. We have pawn to f3 now by white. Not the best move. Probably getting the knight into the game would have been better, but we will continue. We now have bishop takes knight. This is the best move in the position by Miaoyi. Bishop takes knight on d3. And we have queen takes back. Although it might have been better to actually capture with the pawn and open up the e-file so you can put pressure on the pawn. And Miaoyi being a couple moves from castling, yeah, it would have been better to actually capture with e-pawn here, which is counterintuitive. Usually you don't want to mess up your pawn structure. But let's go ahead and continue. We have pawn to c5 now by Miaoyi. And this is an okay move, an inaccuracy though. Again, probably just starting your attack on the king side here with ideas of possibly castling to the queen side. But now with playing pawn to c5, obviously it's unlikely that we're going to castle to the queen side. But let's go ahead and continue with what happened on the board. We have pawn to c3 by white. Best move actually just bishop to h3, putting pressure on this pawn, not giving Lu Maoyi a chance to get closer to castling, but we'll continue. We now have knight to e7 by Lu Maoyi. Probably capturing the pawn would have been better, but again, we'll just go ahead and continue. This is only a minor inaccuracy. We now have pawn to e4 by white, a solid move in the position, and Lu Maoyi goes ahead and castles to the king side now. So ideas of pushing the pawn structure up to attack, probably not as valid now. We have bishop to e3, best move in the position by white, getting that bishop into the game, and Lu Maoyi plays the best move, pawn captures on d4, or c captures on d4 by Lu Maoyi, best move she can play. And now we have pawn captures to the center here, which is normally the way to go here, but Stockfish actually likes getting the bishop there instead. Okay, but let's just go ahead and continue with what happens on the board. We have pawn captures on d4, and now knight to c4 by Lu Maoyi. This is the best move in the position, attacking the bishop, attacking the pawn. So white goes ahead and drops the bishop back to c1, defending, and now we have the best move in the position by Lu Maoyi, as you might have expected. Queen to b6, putting additional pressure on the b2 pawn. Actually, this was a blunder here by white. White plays the move pawn to b3, and like I said, that's a mistake. She should have instead captured the pawn here, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that variation, how things could have gone better. White would have had an advantage in the position we'll take a look at. So instead, she should have played pawn captures on d5. Best for black, it's a tricky one, is actually knight to e5, as you can't take the knight because of the absolute pin to the king. So the queen must drop back. Best for white would be queen to d1. Knight captures then on d5 by black would be best. And now knight to c3, getting that knight into the action. And this would have been a better way to play it. Things are pretty much even. If they capture, you have a temporary backward pawn, but you should be able to defend that position. Yeah, white would be better in this position. That's not what happened on the board, though. Let's go back to what they faced on the actual chessboard. So instead, white played pawn to b3 here, and Lu Maoyi does go for this kind of crazy move. She plays knight to e5. It would have been better to play actually the crazy move bishop to e5, because now you're going to be putting pressure on the pawn. Again, cannot be taken because of the absolute pin. But let's go with what Lu Maoyi played. She played knight to e5 here, and now we have queen back to d2. And this is an inaccuracy, just not the best spot. A lot of times you want to just move your queen back to the starting square. A lot of times that's a strong move. This is blocking the bishop and just not ideal. Again, better would have been queen to d1, but we will continue once again. Lu Maoyi now plays knight to c6 here, and we have bishop to b2, a great square for that bishop, best possible move in the position. Lu Maoyi also plays the best move in the position, pawn captures on e4, so d captures e4. We now have f captures e4 by white, and now pawn to d6 here by Lu Maoyi. And again, called an inaccuracy. The computer prefers putting the bishop again on e5. As we know, the pawn can't capture because of the absolute pin. So it would have been better to put the bishop there, but okay, let's continue. We have knight to b3. This is an okay move considering the situation. Maybe looking to go ahead and fork the queen and the undefended bishop or something, but let's continue. We have a fantastic move by Lu Maoyi. She plays bishop to b4 here, attacking the queen. And now queen back to f2 by white. Lu Maoyi now captures the pawn. So we have pawn captures on d4. This is being called an inaccuracy, as well, it ends up being an isolated pawn. It would have been better to capture with the knight and let them decide whether or not they're going to go ahead and capture that knight. But now she's got that isolated pawn, although that's something that Lu Maoyi probably wanted. Maybe she was thinking the pawn's not going to be captured and is now a pass pawn. We'll continue. We have a fantastic move in the position by white, knight to c4, attacking Lu Maoyi's queen. She should have really moved her queen back to c7 here, and she would have had a dominant position. And this is a rather long variation, but we'll go ahead and take a quick look at that now. So best would be queen to c7. And then white should bring the rook to c1, getting that rook to the open file where it can maybe later threaten the queen. Bishop back to c5 would be best for black. And then white should go ahead and get their king scooted over to h1. So we have rook a to d8 by black. And now queen should come to e2 for white. Knight now to g5 is best for black. And then pawn to e5 for white. Pawn captures on e5 for black. Rook captures on f8 for white. Bishop captures f8 for black. And this would have been a better way for Lu Miaoyi to play than what she should have faced on the chessboard. Although this, not being computers, mistakes can be made the other direction. But yeah, Lu Miaoyi would have had advantage. She's up a couple points. She's got a couple of passed pawns here. This would have definitely been a excellent situation had Lu Miaoyi played queen to c7. That's not what she played. Let's go back and see what she did play now. So instead, Stockfish says she blunders. She plays queen to c5. And we have the best move played by white, pawn to a3, attacking the bishop. The bishop drops back. White goes ahead and captures. So bishop drops back to a5. Knight captures a5. Queen captures a5 now. Queen captures knight. And now bishop captures the pawn. As there are two attackers, bishop captures on d4, picking up that pawn. Lu Miaoyi plays rook f to d8. And now we have the best move in the position for white. She plays bishop to c5, attacking the knight and kind of locking the queen out. Lu Miaoyi now plays rook to d2, attacking the queen. We have queen to e3 now by white. Might have been better just to actually go ahead and attack the queen here. Let them attack the queen and attack their queen in exchange, but we'll continue. We now have the best move in the position by Lu Miaoyi. Rook a to d8, doubling the rooks on the d file. And now white does play the best move. Pawn to b4, attacking the queen. Lu Miaoyi, again, she should have moved her queen back to c7, and we would have seen a similar variation as one we've already explored. But she plays queen to a4, which actually gives black a chance to take advantage. And let's take a look at how black could take advantage of that situation, this blunder, queen to a4. So best play for white would be pawn to e5 now. Pawn should capture, f captures e5, and now rook to c1 by white. This position would have been a lot more desirable for white. Lu Miaoyi is still up a point, but her pieces are not well coordinated with each other in a lot of ways. Well, the rooks are nicely coordinated, but there's a lot of problems with her position. White has the bishop pair, so this should have been an advantage for white, although this is not exactly what happened on the board. Let's go back with what happened in that chess game. You can see actually at this point, the girls, the ladies, they only have 4 and 8 seconds respectively. So white only has 4 seconds. Lu Miaoyi only has 8 seconds on the board. But let's go back. So Lu Miaoyi, as Stockfish says, blunders, but she only had seconds on her clock. And now we do have the best move in the position for white. She does play pawn to e5. Now Lu Miaoyi, it says that she blunders. Again, they only have seconds on their clock. So, white only has 4 seconds on her clock. She plays queen to c2 here, which is not best. She should have, as we saw, she should have captured here. That would have been the best move for black. But okay, so this is a blunder now, and the way that white should play to punish Lu Miaoyi for this mistake, although she only had 4 seconds, so how could she? She should have played bishop to e4. Lu Miaoyi would need to reposition the queen to b2. White should then capture on f6, and then best for black would just be to capture back on f6. We now have rook a to b1, attacking the queen. Lu Miaoyi would have to get, black would have to get their queen out of there. Queen to e5. Rook now b to e1 by white. And now the king should jump up to g7, defending the pawn. Queen now to f3 by white. And this would have been a superior position for white. White's got the bishop pair. Yeah, the pieces are just better coordinated in general. Lu Miaoyi would have been in trouble. She would have been losing this position more than likely. given real time controls. With only seconds on their clock, how are you supposed to see all this? You probably can't. Let's go back to what actually happened on the chessboard. So Lu Miaoyi plays queen to c2. We saw the move that should have been played. It should have been bishop here, but white blunders, instead plays queen to f3. Lu Miaoyi now plays knight captures pawn on e5, attacking the queen. White plays queen to e4 here, although she could have actually gotten away with just going ahead and capturing the pawn here, threatening the knight. That would have been fine. She would have been okay as long, well, I guess actually she's not really threatening the knight because she's got to keep an eye on the bishop here, but that would have been okay. We now have queen takes queen by Lu Miaoyi, and now bishop takes, so queen takes e4, and now bishop takes queen on e4 by white. So we have knight 7 to e6 by black, by Lu Miaoyi. This is the best move in position. And now we have pawn to h3 here. Again, players, they just don't have a lot of time, so they're not necessarily finding the best move in the position. This was a mistake. She should have kicked the knight with pawn to b5, but we'll forgive her considering she had no time on her clock hardly. We now have rook to e2 by Lu Miaoyi, just going directly after the bishop, the brute force method. We have bishop now to f5 by white. This is not the best move in the position. She should have instead played rook to e1 here, and she would have had better chances here. Black is still winning actually at this point, no matter what happens, but this was a mistake. Lu Miaoyi is just, she realizes both people are under stress. She plays for checkmate right away. She plays rook to d2. It would have been better actually to move the knight here. Just get the knight to d4 is recommended being a better move, but Lu Miaoyi sees something else here. Now we have bishop to e6 check here. I think this young player, well, she was born in 2007, so what is she? She would be 16 years old. She doesn't have enough time on her clock to come up with solid moves, so she just gave a checking move. Lu Miaoyi, of course, just gets her king out of check. That's the best move, king to h8. And now white actually blunders by playing rook to d1 here. This was an absolute mistake. It's a huge blunder as there is now a mate in 3 on the board. This is called a blind swine mate. Go ahead and see if you can pause your video if you like and see if you can find this mate in 3. But yeah, this is a known checkmate. Everybody that studies chess, I think, knows this. Well, it's a pretty common one. Blind swine mate is what it's called. But hopefully you pause your video if that's what you want to do. I guess I'll just play it out the way Lu Miaoyi did, because evidently her opponent didn't see it. So rook to g2 check, forcing the king to the corner. And then you just go to the corner with him, check again. The king's got to come back. And then this is just checkmate. So that's the way it went down. Nobody ran out of time. It was an actual legitimate checkmate in the Blitz chess. So yeah, they only had 180 seconds to start, as you see in the time controls. Black did force mate. Lu Miaoyi won this one. Anyway, I will be covering many of these games. I've already posted several from the Blitz tournament, some of them as well from the Rapids. And I will be covering many more of Lu Miaoyi's games. I definitely will be following her, as well as Daniel Cuizon and other chess prodigies. Please let me know if there is a chess player you would like me to cover. I do have a request that I need to do a video on here shortly. But yeah, please like and subscribe. Also, I teach chess classes, group classes, or individual. You can check that out on Patreon. Links in the description. But all right, thank you for joining me. Bye, everybody. Take care.